So when everything is collapsed and destroyed, now theoretically, according to the Bible, God says, come, let us do it again. All right, let's start all over again, and let's create a man and a woman. And Rabbi Marvin S. Antelman, some 35 years ago, Marvin Antelman, A-N-T-E-L-M-A-N-N, Marvin Antelman of Newton, Massachusetts, was 35 years ago president of the American Rabbinical Association. And he and I were very close friends for many years. I used to chide him all the time about his understandings of the Bible. But Rabbi Antelman, president of the American Rabbinical Association, said to me, I asked him about that scripture where God said, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. And I said to Rabbi, what are you talking about? Come, let us. Who's us? Did God got to get permission from somebody here that's working with him or what? And he says, no. It's a misunderstanding on how the sentence is understood by Gentiles and Jews. Jews also misunderstand. They don't know any more than the Gentiles do. There is a correct way to read that sentence. The normal way people think that the scripture is saying when it says, God said, come let us make man in our image after our likeness. Most people think that God is saying, come, let us create a creature. Let us make a new creation, a creature. Maybe we'll call him man. So come, let us make a creature, and we will call him man and woman, man with a womb, woman. And that's what most people understand that scripture to mean. That's not what it says at all. Rabbi Antelman says, nowhere in the Bible does it say God created man. It doesn't say that. Go back and read it correctly. What is said is that God said, or Elohim, the gods said, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. The correct way to understand that is the gods were saying, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Not make man. Man's already here. Come, let us remake man. Do it again. Let us make man according to our image and our likeness. The ancient Jews and the Hebrews and all the ancient civilizations, starting all the way back to Sumeria, understood what was being said. It's just that we don't understand because all we get is our news from ABC. We wouldn't know anything about what's going on. But if you go back to the ancient works, you will find that the ancient people, the Sumerians, Babylonians, Phoenician Canaanites, Egyptians, the ancient Greeks and Romans, all of them understood that we are the creation of another entity. We are the creation of the gods. According to Zecharia Sitchin, and he's not the only one, he's just one that I know personally, but according to the work of Zecharia Sitchin, the Sumerians are saying that extraterrestrials came here from a planet called Nibiru. And they said that Nibiru is a planet about twice the size of the Earth, and it is part of our solar system, but it has a huge elliptical orbit. It's not a round orbit, it's elliptical orbit, oblong. And consequently, according to the Sumerians, and now we're beginning to scientifically find out that he was right. The Sumerians are right. The U.S. Navy has even commented on now that there seems to be more than one other planet connected to our solar system with elliptical orbits. Well, that's what the Sumerians were saying. And this thing comes back every 3,600 years, comes back and then goes back out. And consequently, every 3,600 years, mankind seems to make massive movements on the earth. New things, new technology. All of a sudden, things just start happening. Why? I believe that there's at least enough evidence to show that there might be something to this story, that the Sumerians and the Egyptians and all these great civilizations, not us, we have no idea what's going on right here in our own city, but the ancient peoples knew and said that the gods told them that every 3,600 years they come back through, and when they come back through, why travel a long distance when they can just wait? The planet's going to be in the close vicinity, and when it is, it'll be here for a few months. So they will drop off and see how everything is, and give you some new concepts and new ideas, depending on how smart you are. If you're still as dumb as last time they were here, why bother? But if you've progressed a little bit, they will give you a little bit more to work on. Then they get on the planet and leave, and another 3,600 years goes by, and mankind progresses again. So all of this makes some kind of a legitimate sense if you are able to look at science, philosophy, religion, biblical history, and be able to, balance it all out. There is a modicum of truth in all of this, because scientifically things are being proven now that the Sumerians were saying many thousands of years ago. So the point being is that God said, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness. And again, I go back and reiterate that Rabbi Entelman said the correct way to say that or to read that scripture is that the gods said, come, let us make man in our image. Not make man, but let's make him in our image, after our likeness. That's interesting. You mean we were already here, but for being so great, we weren't that great. Yeah, we were hominids. We were Neanderthal man. We were Cro-Magnon man. We were whatever these creatures were that were digging up all over the world. In the south of France, we're finding Neanderthal who stand upright, Homo sapien. They were just a little different from us, but they had certain qualities that showed that they had some intelligence about how to do things. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, from the Neanderthal period, we pop in. Our skin and flesh is different than what the Neanderthals would have been. Our skin is thinner. We can't take the cold like animals do at 2 o'clock in the morning on the desert when it's 20 below zero. Animals are out there. They live through it. We couldn't. Why? It's because our bodies are designed differently. Our skin is thinner. Our systems are more balanced and vulnerable. However, our spirituality and our intellect is far higher. We can appreciate geometry, sciences, occultism, beautiful music, lasers. I mean, our intellectual and spiritual capacity is phenomenal. But our bodies are very vulnerable. So what happened in our natural evolution of things when one time you have the Neanderthals or these hominid creatures and all of a sudden we appear? Well, it makes sense to me that perhaps there is something to what the Sumerians said, that the gods who came through on Nibiru or whatever the planet was, or whatever the story is, the bottom line is that the gods said, come, let us make man in our image after our likeness, meaning they must have cross-breeded their DNA with our DNA. Take one of the hominid creatures that were here, impregnate the female with the genetics of the gods, and the outcome would have been us. We are still animalistic at best. We're still going around killing people and shooting people, and anybody that doesn't look like us or happen to be our color, we hate them, and we shoot them. We shoot our own families. We shoot presidents, we shoot everybody. Why? It's because we are actually a Neanderthal, ancient hominid creature. And we have appetites for violence and excitement and killing and all that kind of thing. However, also, as among us, those who are profoundly brilliant and spiritually in tune